All right, back to it. Another hour and a half of study. Oh. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, that's some powerful music. I'm sad private. The only song ever? Oh, no fucking way. Oh, wait. Okay. How non-member functions improve encapsulation? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how static works yet. Yeah, this is something for later. It's fine for now. Trying to fix the headset on my head. Okay, we have a yogurt object. We're doing set flavor cherry imprinting. Okay. Gotcha. So if we change, the point here is to change as much as possible additional functions that use direct access to private members when it could just access it via the getter. So in this case, if we use get flavor, then we could change the private. And the point here is that the public implementation is using direct access. Yep. Oh, and the string. So instead of printing the flavor, this one is specifically saying the yogurt has flavor something. Instead of saying maybe yogurt is owned by a player, and a player can like it or dislike it. And if he likes it, we're printing so and so likes flavor but does not like flavor. The two yogurts that are stored. Well, instead it would be so and so likes the yogurt has flavor blueberry instead of just saying so and so likes blueberry. So the print is shit because it's not just getting flavor as well. Hold. Why do we need it if we're just returning it already? Yeah, this is trash. Why do we even have print if we're already using get flavor? Excuse me. Create a yogurt, set the flavor, and then print the yogurt has what? A prefix? Yeah. Why aren't we just calling get flavor? Is there a better option that just says we're... Hmm. And then finally, a yogurt. Setting the flavor and printing it. We may as well just have this be the class that's included wherever it's needed. And then the user can make a print function that simply takes a yogurt and prints its get flavor. Because this is the user function. It's not needed in the class. So this can be in the program. Whereas this is defined elsewhere and included. And the reason well, yeah, the issue here is that we're using an implicit object because we're just doing get flavor. And the only reason it knows get flavor is because it's inside this class. Well, actually, yeah. Because it's implicitly acting on the object. But here, now we're just passing it an object so it can be standalone. Because we already have a thing that gets the flavor. If we want to print the flavor, we could just create our own little function to print the flavor. It's not required to be in the class for no reason, because maybe this isn't needed. Only get flavor is. I don't even like making it like this. I'd rather just do standard character output, but... I mean, I guess you'd want a function to just print the yogurt, so sure. And I'd rather call this something better, like print yogurt or something, instead of just print. Yeah, because it's still accessing get flavor as in the public interface. So the implementation doesn't matter. Yes, exactly. The order of class member declaration. Yeah, and that's because it creates prototypes, puts them at the top, and then puts the member functions outside. Private and then public. It feels intuitive for some reason to put the... Really? Okay. I kind of like the former. So far, I agree with this. That's someone's me. I don't really like putting things down below that affect things up top. I'd rather put it up top and know how it follows through, and I can just scroll up to see what's going on. I scroll up to find out, hey, what's going on? I don't scroll down to see what's being brought up. I don't like that. Yeah, I hate this. Fuck that. Agreed. Friend types. Constructors. Oh, wait. I don't know how long I've been going. 12 minutes? Alright, so basically an hour and 20 left. Okay. Hour and 20-ish. The class type is an aggregate, so no private data members. Meaning that it makes initialization a bitch when it's not an aggregate. Right? Because then we have to separately do set this, set that, set that. It'd be cool if I could create it and call something to set all the values to. I.e., initialize it with specific values. What does it even say here? We already know it's private. What does it say? Yeah, there's no constructor that matches. Okay, basically it just can't, doesn't work. Nor can it be assigned another entire class or another object. Yep. Oh, and I guess the constructor will be, it's like your total setter, your class creator. So you call it once, boom. What is a constructor, yo? Automatically called as shit. This is a banger. I like the art style. It's like the Child King. Somewhere what is it called? Osama ranking. There it is. Oh duh, Osama ranking of kings. Is there a default constructor? Because I haven't put constructors in when I create the object normally. Is the constructor the structure, the function that holds the values and tries to fit them in there without conversion? So the compiler is like the architect. Says, hey, it's going here. And then the constructor is the guy who actually puts it there. Okay. So the constructor call is part of the initialization of an object, or the instantiation of an object. The compiler figures out where it's going in memory, and then the constructor confirms that, what, it's actually able to be created, it's valid. Initialization, okay. Yeah, I could see you could have you could have functionality to support spreadsheets, and you could create an object to represent the spreadsheet, and it has a constructor, and it ties into an actual spreadsheet, and then you can use functions on it. But it's initialized to get the information from the spreadsheet. Maybe something like that. Yeah, so the constructor basically determines whether it's usable or not. Whether we have the materials to fit, whether they're the right ones, whether the orders came in properly. Okay. Do we say this automatically initializes them in this order? No. It's just that when we create the object, it calls the constructor, which in this case is printing the values, but the values aren't actually stored to initialize this. So there's no automatic, hey, pass two parameters to the constructor. You have two data members in your class. They get automatically member-wise initialized. Nope. Yep, there it is. Gotcha, so they're called at runtime. Yep. Oh, oops. Makes sense. But if we do we could do that, and then the strength is initialized. Copy, direct, and list initialization. Oh, would we do something like this? Well, not initialized, so maybe this works? Well, no. No, I don't know. I was trying to figure out the syntax. I was thinking that I could, like, we can refer to an actual object and initialize it with dot whatever this, dot whatever this, dot whatever this to do explicit member or explicit initialization of members, letting us skip middle members if we want. So I was thinking we could use them uninitialized and then use list initialization, but there's no way to me to refer to this object to do it, and I don't think that's valid. Because I tried doing dot just to see what would happen, and it wasn't picking it up. In this case, we're passing a character and a bool, so it'll match. Yeah. Do not make constructors const. Yeah, because it's mutating the object. Makes sense. It's changing the data members. I think I should have made my functions earlier const. Yeah, like this should be const. Then this shouldn't be. And something like that too. This is interesting wording. It must not be const, but then we're saying it's okay to modify them in a non-const, as if it's only okay or more okay to modify them in a const, which wouldn't make sense. We have a const something. Non-const constructor. So it's initialized with nothing. Wait. Oh, but the constructor is actually initializing it with 5, even though it has this default member initializer. Okay. Yeah, this is assignment versus here. Yep, makes sense. Not to mention the setter is for one member. Okay, makes sense. Alright, I kind of want to get those push-ups done. Gotta warm up real quick. Cool. Alright, we're doing a little. Wait for the blood to get where it needs to be. Oh. Excuse me, a member initializer list. About a new syntax. I guess we call a standard seed sequence a struct. All right. It's a class, huh? Jesus Christ. God damn. Okay, I need the fan. It's too hot. It's because I did push-ups. That's why. That makes sense. Or at least the warm-up, which is always pretty hard. Oh. So the constructor has a body where it can do stuff, but in its signature, it has a member initialization list. Where it's one, and then that, and then another, and then that, huh? Interesting. Okay, so we can have... Now we can get to some cool stuff. It's just too RPG-like. Oh. Oh. Wow, this is a song. This song could fit in Expedition 33 for sure. Oh. Oops. Nice. I just like that I can't control select this and then control to select another. Nah, shift. Shift is the regular shift stuff. There it is. I accidentally had a semicolon here. Man, this is a fucking baller song. My god. Oh, because that's... So I guess the constructor should really... this will be interesting. Can the constructor call other functions to get them? Like, let's just say we have... Oh! Uh-oh. So it does indeed need... Oh, here we go. Wait. Oh, didn't need to close that initializer. Okay. So we could get a random hand, and then we could make things that happen here. So we could get, say, get card. We could get a random card. Sure, we'll create a hand. This would be a friend function print hand. Or I mean, I guess you'd want to print the hand, right? You can print the individual cards, or you could avoid print hand. Card, get card. Okay. And then what if we do? I don't think I want 5 getters. But I mean, we could, right? And then we could say, where's the issue? Here. Okay. Okay. And so we'll do. We'll just say random card value getter. Oh wait, I need something that actually returns those private members. Okay. Yep. Oops. Cool. Oh, and I could do. Oh, wait. Oh. Hold. Oh, here we go. Wait, what if we did hand.get or card to string hand.get card one? There it is. I fucked that up. Gotta do in reverse so it doesn't offset the cursor. 2, 3, 5, 4. Cool. And I could just initialize these with different things, and this would be a random card thing, and then we create it, and it gets a random hand, one line, and then we can print the hand in one line, and the print hand doesn't give a fuck about how any of this is implemented. All it does is convert a card to a string, and that's a public little conversion guy, and does that even need to be there? Let's see if it doesn't. Hand card? Isn't that how it is though? Isn't this the type of object that it is? Hmm. Oh, because it's a private enum. And so we could do that. Make the enum public. If it's private, then we would need to... Yeah, I think that's what we would have to do. If it was a private enum, what am I going to do? Return the possible values of the enum? Like return king, return queen, return jack, return joker? And then have fucking 5 more getters just for the values of the enums? I don't think so. Okay. It's cool. Constructors, baby. Excuse me. So you get of this, and then the almost ternary operator. Semicolon here, initialize, 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 embrace. Or rather, it's initialize, initialize, and then your body. Or, and then const, and then the body, huh? Well, you wouldn't put const. constructed, and then we have print foo. Uh-oh, you wouldn't want to do this, buddy. You would want to get these guys, and then have this be outside, maybe. And then take a const reference. Yeah, majoring isn't even in there. Cool. I was gonna say, it might actually be worth paying for some people if it was, but it's not. Use, or, well, mx equals x, comma space. Oh no, yeah, that's weird. No semicolon because it's not in the body, I guess. We can do that, and then we can actually print it, and the values are there. And foo's instantiated, the members are initialized with the specific initialization, with the specified initialization values. Yep. So, can I do it backwards? You can do them out of order. Damn, couldn't see it. There's a gnat. Keep forgetting. What if this was... Uh-oh. Illegal. What if it was right here? Type qualifier is not allowed in a constructor or destructor. This, gotcha, so it does implicitly pass. Damn, I was gonna do that too! I was gonna try earlier when I was just doing regular initialization. I was trying to do like dot m wing count or dot m wing count and then wings like this. I was gonna try and do this, something like that, but nah, obviously that's not the right syntax. Nah, that's cool. Wait, did I even make that work just now? Cool. Nope. Something like that? Yeah. Okay. Yep. I kind of like the first. The second and third are kind of crazy. Well, no. Well, it doesn't care because they're only separated by white space. Use the third style. Yeah, I agreed. The function prototype is separate from the member initializer list. Okay. Real quick, my push-ups. 5, one arm, both arms. It's 3 apiece. I need to make the form even better. Two more. Normally, it's down right here. It's just that when I do that, the body wants to go over here. Okay. Hmm? I was on caps. Okay. I don't dislike this. I dislike this. I don't like hanging shit. Doesn't make it clear where there's a beginning and an end. Boom, boom. I have to be like, Where the fuck does it? What the fuck is going on here? Oh, okay. Versus here, I'm like, boom. Those are the initializers. First and second are the best. Excuse me. Third, last might be the best though for excuse me. If we're able to call it with just the operator parentheses, then we could verify that, hey, can't do that. There's a constructor. There's an overload that already exists that will have an ambiguous call with. Maybe. In this case, if it has two ints. This is also cool. Cool. Yeah, instead of putting the comma here and then having this be 2 spaces left. So even if we do them out of order, mx is always initialized, even if y is forward. Oh shit, here it comes. Oh, is this because... I'll find out in a second. Because mx is defined before my, mx is initialized first, even if it's not listed. So for example, if you crazily do what I just did to test, and you initialize this after, and we initialize mx to be my, we initialize mx to be my, that's undefined behavior because we don't, my hasn't been initialized yet. Because I guess it doesn't get a default initializer, it just gets whatever. So if it hasn't been initialized yet, we can assume my is a bajillion, and then my is initialized to be the max of a bajillion and a bajillion, which is going to be a bajillion, so don't we get 2 bajillions? Oh, unless it's like negative a bajillion, then max is bigger, and I think that's what was happening there. Yeah, it is, that's why. Because x is, oh wait, hold. Yeah, x is assigned to be negative a bajillion, and then y is assigned to be 0 and, or whatever, some random number, and negative a bajillion. Well, the maximum is the little, like, 7 in this case. Alright, that's the strat here, okay. Practice what you preach, yo. May as well just have a getter and a getter. And then an outside function. Yeah, but even in this case, if we do mx first, mx is being initialized in y. Oh wait, hold. Actually, I fucked this up. It's past 6 and 7. 6, 7. X is nothing, and then X is negative a bajillion because this was negative a bajillion, and then 7. Okay, cool. That's where we get 7 from, and not another bajillion number. Oh, it's not even time yet. I got 20 minutes left. I was worried. My heart starts to go crazy whenever the timer's kicking. Let me check something now. So I have 2 grand. Holy shit! This is gonna be like a couple $100,000. Oh my god, really? Fucking set, bro. I'm gonna be saving a lot more money starting soon. Got like a $580 after-tax raise. And the problem here is we have MY. Well, the problem here is that MX is first being initialized to be MY, but MY isn't even known. So this is, what the fuck is this anyways? Oh, the point is that you're thinking that, oh hey, it's okay to use MY here to initialize this guy, because we'll initialize MY first and then do MX. Just like we could say MX first. Well, the only way of doing this would be MX. MX is the one that needs the max. And then MY could be initialized to be MX. Problem is we're getting undefined behavior because this guy hasn't been initialized yet. Because MX comes first. Makes sense. Yeah, also true because that's fucking stupid. Walking up a ladder with nails in your mouth or something. Bro, hello? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we're initializing X with a value, so it has a member initializer. Default initializer. Y doesn't, so it will be using default member initializer. And then Z has nothing. Don't use Z. Don't print Z. Get printed. Oh, he's cooked. You need your negative 8 millions, bro. Or negative 858 millions. Yep, there it is. You could have done it a different way. You could have said that X was default and then Y got the member initializer. So you'd say, okay, well, X has no member initializer, so X is nothing first. And then Y has a member initializer, so it gets that. Even though it gets that, it's not coming before X. X comes first, then Y, and then Z with nothing. Let's test. Oh. Hmm. Meaning that the constructor has been called first. These guys default initialized and then assigned. Which means that if the reference is already referring to something, it can't then be made to refer to something separately. But it could if it was being initialized with it from the get-go, which would just ignore these. Okay. Initialized and then constructed. Meaning that what? In the body we can check to make sure that the denominator is not 0? But how do you check it during initialization? Is it initialized first, right? And then the body comes? So does it then check to see if it is, and then you have a while loop? No? Oh no. Interesting, okay. Yeah, what do we choose otherwise? I mean, do we just do a standard optional? Or do we say, if this, or well, do we, I mean, do we make the denominator just be a standard optional int? And then we check, and we assign it either null opt or we assign it the value? Yeah, exactly. And this happens first, so it's not like we can check it and then say, hey, this happened, we changed the value for you. It's already been initialized. Okay. So we could get failing constructors, meaning that it's not semantically valid. Okay. Syntactical versus semantical. Semantical meaning that the invariant is false. I mean, we could just have it checked to see if it's standard optional or not, right? Makes sense. Instead of just creating it and then having it automatically say it, which would be cool. Gotcha. So you actually just have a standard optional that optionally returns a fraction. And if it fails, then it doesn't even return a fraction. Hmm. Could just make this be fraction, but okay, we created a fraction with 0 and 1. And we say, if f1, it's valid. And then we say this, and then we say, and then f2 should be false, and if it's false, this is a weird example, but bad fraction, because we had a function that creates a fraction. And if it returns false, it just returns nothing. It's empty, null option. Otherwise, it returns a temporary fraction, whatever, which gets copied to whatever fraction we are making. Could be interesting. Okay, so we're saying that an exception is one way. Could say Hold. Oh my. Hold. Alright, what is this? Oh. We have this be auto. Oh, we have this be a standard optional fraction. Gotcha. Okay. And the point here is that the standard optional doesn't even create a fraction. It actually only optionally makes a fraction. So we don't even get to the constructor with 0 as the denominator. It checks before we even get to creating it. Okay. No. All right. More later.